fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I am so excited for this video because we're going to be doing a chatty get ready with me and also talking about my trip to Charleston with the creator and friends. And I've never gone on a trip like that before, so I had so many feelings, so many emotions, but everything went amazing. And I just wanted to sit down with y'all, do my makeup using a bunch of my current favorite products, and just kind of talk to you about how it went and just have a good time. I feel inspired, I feel revitalized, like I just feel like this is my moment to get my momentum going and just start creating content again like I used to, and just, I don't know, I feel ready, I feel good, and I'm just, I hope that's the good vibes are coming across on camera. I've got my coffee here. It's actually way later than I wanted it to be, but I accidentally slept in. But that's fine. We're gonna have a great time. Let's just go. Let's start. So I'm gonna start off with the e.l.f. Skin Sun Touchable Whoa Glow 30 Broad Spectrum SPF. I am obsessed with this. It says it's for sun protection and a makeup primer, but even just wearing it on its own is so beautiful. This is the shade Sunbeam. I'm not sure how many shades they have, but I normally just take a big old goop, like that much, and throw it all over my skin, and I cannot like explain how obsessed I am with this. Like, it does not look white, it doesn't look chalky, like it just looks beautiful on the skin, and it just adds the prettiest glow. Like, this makes me excited to put my SPF on kind of vibes. Oh my god, what was that? I'm just gonna let that soak into my skin for a minute and we can talk about how it started, because I know it looks like it's a brand trip, but it wasn't. The whole concept was just to create a trip where a bunch of YouTubers could come together and just like harbor that like connection and friendship. And that was the whole point of the trip. It was never about brands. It was never about selling anything. It was really just about like that community feeling. And it started off as just a survey, like, where would you like to go? When could you go? What cities are you interested in? Who else do you think we should invite? So I know a lot of questions came about like who got invited, how did they get invited? And it was all that it was someone was recommended. And I know that there's a lot of people who were recommended that weren't able to go. If you were wondering, maybe like one of your favorite creators didn't go, they could have been invited, they could have just not been able to make it. And it started off as something where we were all paying for it ourselves. Like, we sent out the money for the house, and like we were gonna, like, it was gonna be completely self-funded because we just wanted to have that community. Along the way, they ended up having some brands come on board wanting to sponsor portions of the trip, but it was always never any posting requirements. You don't have to do this, like you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. And they, and BK Beauty specifically ended up really coming through. They paid for the dinners and they paid for the stay. And then we were all individually responsible for our travel, which for me was super easy because I just drove with Amanda Makeup Just for Fun, and we're both kind of introverted, and when we looked at the survey and we saw all the cities, all the options, we both just chose the one that was closest, which ended up being beautiful, and it ended up being the one that we went to, so we were able to drive, and it wasn't that far, and it was road trip vibes, so it was very fun. But anyways, it's something that hasn't really been done before, and no one who was invited like based on like, oh, like, do they have this many followers? Have they done this? Have they done that? Like, no, it was just like people in the community that you thought would be a good fit for a trip. And I think that's why it ended up turning out so beautifully, because I know personally I had a lot of anxiety. Wait, I just have to tell you real quick. I'm using the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator in the shade Fair Pale. So I know I had a lot of anxiety going into the trip because I did feel like a little bit of imposter syndrome. I felt just anxious that, like, I don't know, that so many people that you've seen online but you haven't met in person, you don't know how they're gonna be. Like, you tend to hear things like, oh, people are catty, people are different. And that was not the case. Like, that couldn't be further than the case. Like, for this group of women, everyone was so kind, so nice, so welcoming. There were several people that like I had never met before, that like I hadn't really had like a bunch of interactions with, and it didn't matter. Like, everyone was so wonderful. Like, it just makes me happy. And for like a group of 20 women staying in one house for several days, there was literally zero drama. Zero drama. It was amazing. And I didn't realize at first, which kind of ended up making me feel cool, like, oh, like, I don't know how I managed this, but I was the baby of the trip. I was the youngest person there. And it kind of made me feel like, I was like, why am I like having all these feelings and feeling anxious and feeling like I don't belong? Like, I'm just another woman who loves makeup, loves talking about it, can't get enough. I honestly love when that happens, when you're like so anxious about something and then it ends up going so perfectly and you just think like, why was I ever even anxious? Like, what was I worried about? Like, that was the vibes 100%. And like, I felt really lucky. Coffee break. I'm going in with the Thrive, no, sorry. I keep thinking Thrive because the packaging is really similar. This is the Thread Cover It Concealer in the shade Fair Neutral. I'm obsessed with this, so good. I felt really lucky because I did go with Amanda. We drove together, we roomed together, like we're already besties in real life. We live very close to each other. We hang out all the time. I know you guys have only seen us on our channels, like we've only filmed together once, but we are always together, so she was low-key like my safety blanket. Like I knew that like no matter what happened, she had my back, she was gonna be there for me, so that did help a lot and was like really comforting, and her friendship is something I'm so grateful for, which, don't get me started, I'll get choked up. Look how beautiful that concealer blends out. Like I can't get enough, and the fact that it's $8 is beautiful. But basically, long story short, what I'm saying is that I will not hold myself back. Like in the future, hopefully when it comes around, I get invited again. That would be the goal. I would love to go again. But I'm gonna make it happen, and I'm not gonna like stress myself out about anything because it went so perfect, honestly. So let me think what else I could tell you guys about. So the first day we got there, and we went and got some coffee, like just a few of us, and like kind of, it was nice because it wasn't like everyone coming together at the exact same time, so it wasn't overwhelming. Like we got to say like a few hellos and whatnot over a course of a few hours. I don't know, you guys, I'm very introverted. I can tend to be shy. I've definitely been told that like I come across as like bitchy before because I am so shy, and like I was really, really hoping not to do that for this trip because I was so excited to be there. I can be in my shell sometimes, so it was nice that like the introductions were like not all at once at one time. I feel like it gave me like breathing room. I feel like the more I talk, the more I'm like, damn, I'm a hot mess. So we went to dinner that first night and got to meet everyone, and luckily Heather, she was like running behind because of her flight being canceled, but she was able to make it to the dinner, and that was awesome. She was so sweet. I feel like, I mean, I was excited to meet everyone, but like there are specific people who I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to meet you because we've talked so much online. And Heather was one of those people, and she is just so sweet and funny and just like positive, warm energy. So I was glad she was able to make it to the dinner. And I mean, honestly, we'd all just like chatted and had fun. And then that night we did White Elephant, and that was also very fun because I've personally never played White Elephant before. This is the Glowish bronzer, BT Dubs. I love it. Blends so effortlessly. But I've never played it before, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. I knew not to get attached to any gift, but it was super fun, and I ended up with a karaoke mic, and like I'd never thought I needed a karaoke mic, but I did. I needed one in my life. Last night, my boyfriend and I turned on some Luis Miguel, and we were just jamming, absolutely jamming. So thank you to Linda because she got me that mic. Well, she got somebody that mic, and it ended up being me, and I loved it. It was super fun, and it was a really good icebreaker, and like, I just can't stress to you guys enough. I want to know, like, what is going on Too Faced. Like, I'm literally using tweezers and I still can't open this. This blush, I literally, oh my God, there it is. That is crazy. Why is it so hard to open? Okay, just using this Too Faced blush in the shade Candy Clouds because it's a cute little pink moment. Even though I would not reach for this if I was in a hurry, since you need like a whole 5 minutes just to open it. Where were we? Oh, it was a good icebreaker. Oh, I was saying I can't stress enough just how kind and funny and just like the way that people are online, how they are in real life. I honestly woke up every day just feeling like I was living a dream. And like, I know like the one night I had a really long conversation with Hannah Louise Poston, and I love her with my whole heart. I actually had a flight already placed to see her, and it ended up getting canceled because of COVID, and I was so sad. So like to meet her finally felt so amazing. And like I just remember like we're like talking about life and this and that, and I'm just like staring at her like Hannah's right in front of me. Like I was just like having a moment. I also had a little moment which I didn't want to say out loud because I was like, Jesus, this is gonna age me, and like age me as far as being way younger than the rest of these ladies. But Jen Loves, she was like sitting across just talking, and like I actually have met her before, and she was very kind the first time I met her, but we didn't get the chance to talk that much. We definitely got to interact more this time. But I just remember like listening to her, and I'm like I watched your videos in my childhood bedroom like when I was in high school, and like here you are across from me. Like, who am I? Who am I to get invited here? And I did get a negative comment that was like, these brand trip posts are so obnoxious, blah, blah, blah. And like, the thing is that everything the brands did, like other than obviously BK Beauty, like providing food and providing shelter, like that was the most important thing. But everything else was extra. The makeup, the skincare, the BK Beauty sweatshirt, the hat, like all of it I love. That was all beautiful, and I'm grateful, and like that's awesome. But even if none of that happened, it wouldn't have mattered, because this trip was about the women, was about each other. Like that was what mattered to me, honestly. It's kind of funny because I brought this Laura Geller Pixie Pearl Highlighter with me on the trip, and I like highlighted my whole body every opportunity that I had. But actually Angie gave this to me years ago, the first time we met, and I'm still obsessed. Like it's not even, I don't know that it was ever available for purchase. Every time I went to link it, it was never available. I think it was very limited edition, but it's such a pretty pink highlighter that I have just never stopped using it. And it's also really good for the body, and I feel like it just like blends in. I mean, I'll show you guys right now, like just a little glowy moment. So something else that I felt like was so, I don't know about the trip, like I felt like I was blushing so much, was just the way that everyone hyped each other up and was so kind. I've never had so many people say so many nice things to me. Like I felt like I just needed to go hide. Like specifically Kelsey and Tina hyping me up, and like, I don't know, like I was like, I walked away from that conversation like texting my boyfriend like, damn, you are really lucky. Like you better not act up. Like I just got told I am Jessica Rabbit, so you better keep them flowers coming. I also thought it was really cool that there were no posting requirements, because like for being my first trip like that, it was very overwhelming, and I definitely did not do a good job of like taking pictures or videos of everything. I just kind of was like living in the moment. So it was nice to have that experience and to just like not have to worry. Oh, and oh my God, you guys, I'm like all over the place, but for the second dinner was actually with BK Beauty. So we got to meet Lisa, and I was so excited to meet her. She's so sweet, and she is so beautiful, like just an angel. There was also bottomless champagne, which I might have taken advantage of because I never had champagne before this New Year's with Amanda. She opened up a bottle of champagne. I was like, sure, I'll try it. And I love it. That dinner was at this place called Church and Union, and I don't really know the history of the building, but it was beautiful. Like, I think it used to be a church. Like, it had stained glass windows. There was a thunderstorm outside, so like we saw the lightning coming in from the stained glass windows, which I've never seen before, and that was also a vibe. I'm just gonna go in with some eyeshadow primer, and I'm already super excited because I'm gonna go into Lauren's palette with Odin's Eye, the Sea Talk palette. So I'm gonna use these two shades here because they're my favorite neutrals. I'm obsessed with them in this palette. And I also got to meet Lauren for the first time, and Lauren's one of the people that like we hadn't really had interactions online. Like, I knew who she was, I watched her videos, I followed her, but like we never like really talked a whole bunch. But then in person, she was so sweet, so kind. I feel like I feel like we hit it off right away, which made the palette even that more special because now I'm like, Lauren, she's my friend. So for me and Amanda going into the trip, we tried really hard to make sure that we talked to everyone, just because it was a decently large group of women and we didn't know everyone to start off with. And we felt really lucky because it just ended up turning out that like every night at dinner, people kind of sat like slightly in different spots. And so we ended up having a few different conversations from that. And then like the one day when we went to coffee, we ended up running into Shelly and Kelly Gooch, which we hadn't talked to as much before that. So we're like, here's a good opportunity. Like we get to have some good conversations. And I'm pretty sure I met Kelly once before in New York, like just like passing by kind of vibes, but we didn't really have any conversations. And she seems super, super sweet. And then for like the beach day, we ended up going and having a good conversation with Kaki and Stephanie for a really long time, which we hadn't gotten to talk to them previously before that. So it was nice just kind of like rotating and like really like getting to talk to everyone because like, you know, we didn't want it to be like groups or cliques or anything. We wanted to like contribute to like everyone getting to know everyone. And I felt like it did end up working out like that. And then I am honestly the worst at telling a story. Like I'm not going in order at all, but we also had a masterclass with ColourPop, which was very cool. And they had a bridal makeup artist that was local to the area come and like show us some new techniques and whatnot. And the thing that I took away from it the most, which I'm actually not doing on my face right now, is she like started off with the eyes and she was so messy and she was like, we're gonna be extremely messy because we can clean it up later. And like sometimes when you're doing your face first and then your eyes and you're trying to like focus on blending this little area, you don't have as much room. So if you bring it all the way over and then just clean it up afterwards, you can basically like blend better and like not have to worry about it. And I thought that was cool. I never did my makeup like that before, and I really enjoyed that tip. And we got to pick out some different ColourPop goodies, which I didn't own any lippy sticks or lip liners from ColourPop. So I picked out a few and they were really good. I actually ended up wearing them all day. And then the worst part of the trip, the worst part is that after that class, we were like, okay, let's go to Market Street because apparently there's food and shopping and it's gonna be fun. And somebody said that it was a 10-minute walk, and like we all just started walking and going and going and going. And then at some point I realized that it was actually probably a 10-minute drive, and none of us had the right shoes on. We were sweaty, we were hot, we were hungry. And when we like finally got there, we were just like, okay, we need to eat and go back to get ready because it took so long to get there. Everyone was like, we're Ubering back. We're not doing that walk again. That was the only bad part of the trip because I ended up with blisters on my toes, and I think everyone's feet were hurting because we were not prepared for that walk. Kind of using my finger to blend it into the crease a little bit more, kind of get that all over shimmery moment. Doesn't have to be too perfect. I'm gonna wipe that off on my pants because why not? I was curious to hear from you guys if you would like to see content with any of the goodies that I got. So I have like a giant goodie bag. I could do a haul of like everything we got if you guys wanted to see that, but I didn't want to be like annoying. So I didn't know. I was like, maybe that could just be like a little TikTok moment. I also have some new releases from Unearthly Cosmetics, which is an indie brand. They sponsored our brunch and like did like this really cute handbag and put all their goodies in there. So there's the Don't Be Jelly eyeshadow palette, and then I think some lippies and some highlighters. But I haven't tried Unearthly Cosmetics. I did try them one time when they were Alien Cosmetics like forever ago, but I have not tried anything since then. So if you guys would like to see me do a full video on Unearthly, let me know. I've heard really, really good things, and the palette is beautiful. I also have a few other new things that I'm gonna try and get a video up with this week, specifically the Adept Cosmetics new palette, the eyeshadow palette and the highlighter palette. if you guys would like to see that. I know it's expensive, so I'm trying to get a really good video up before it launches to help you out and decide. There's something else new, but it hasn't been released. It hasn't been revealed yet, so I'm gonna film with that, but not post it quite yet. I feel like I talk so much, but I don't even know if I like got out exactly how I feel. I just feel so grateful. Like, I just feel so happy. And you know what else? I feel so grateful for my partner, my boyfriend. It's funny because I feel like you get so close and like we have a home together and we consider ourselves a family. So like just calling him my boyfriend doesn't feel like enough anymore, but he literally held the house down, took care of everything, took care of the whole zoo. Like, I tried to message him like, oh, like, don't forget this. And he's like, don't worry about it. Just go have fun. Like, just so supportive. I feel so lucky. Okay, I'm just gonna go in with this from Sigma. This is their lip oil in the shade Hush, which we actually did get these in the goodie bag, but I already own them and I love them. All right, y'all, so this is the finished look. I love how it turned out. I will try and link everything down below for y'all just in case, because I know I'm not the best at being organized when it comes to a Chatty Get Ready with me, but at the end of the day, I just hope you enjoyed the video, had a good time, and if you do have any more questions about the trip, feel free to leave them down below. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!